Hello! I'm Elaine, and I'm a tour guide in the French Quarter. I do ghost tours. And I am not going to tell you the stories that I tell on my tour, because you gotta pay for those. But if you want to hear some interesting things that have happened to me while I'm leading random drunk people around the French Quarter, I got you. So a friend of mine was in town the other day, and I took her on a tour, because of course I did. And it did not go very well, I will admit. That night I happened to have a couple that were incredibly intoxicated on that tour. Like, the girl was drunk enough she should not have been there anymore, and it was sort of sad because she kept walking with me and like telling me, you can kick him off, talking about her boyfriend, and I'm sitting there thinking the entire time, sweetie, if he wasn't here, you would not be here anymore because he is the only thing containing you. And I mean, like, literally, there were moments she was trying to walk over and hug strangers and he was holding her back. He also, at one point, had to hold her back because she wanted to, like, jump out in the street for some reason. I'm not sure why. But he also got the blame because it was raining, and she seemed to think it was somehow his fault that it was raining. And at one point, she told me to kick him off the tour because he was making it rain. And she didn't like that. And, like, eventually she devolved into the drunk girl that we have all the time that just responds to every single thing you say. So, like, you're saying, like, oh, this person was born in this year, and they're like, ooh, and you're like, and then they died. Oh no. And then this person got arrested. I like that. Or good for her. And you're just like, oh my God, you don't have to respond to everything I say. But the moment that really struck out to me, the moment that also told me I was going to have a bad tour, because this happened when we were literally just gathering all the guests together. This woman is standing there, like, with her boyfriend. He wraps his arms around her, and she turns to him and licks his face. I don't mean kiss. I don't mean, like, nuzzle. I mean, like, tongue full out from chin up to eyes. And he just sort of stands there and looks at her in a way that makes me feel she has done this before. And this sparked me to want to talk about one of the most awkward things I've experienced as a tour guide, which is the weird-ass PDA that some of y'all are doing. Like, I understand that people have different ways of expressing their love for each other, but there are some things that I'm just sitting there going, who does that? I had a girl on a tour the other night who just was standing next to her boyfriend, like, fingering his ear for 2 stops, like running her finger across the curve of his ear, but also sometimes sticking her finger in his ear, like sometimes rubbing it and like tugging on it in a way that I know would feel good, but sometimes literally sticking her finger in his ear in front of everyone. And every now and then other people would look over at her in a way that I know they were also thinking, what the fuck is she doing? But there was also one night that I had a couple that quite often, and I hate it when they do this, the guy stands directly behind the girl with his arms in front of her in a gesture that reads so clearly as mine. And sometimes even with his hands in her pockets. And if they're standing comfortably, sure, whatever, be comfortable. But it always just strikes me a bit weird. But I had a couple on my tour the other night that the guy was a bit shorter than the girl, and I guess that meant he felt the need to show his possession a bit more strongly, because he originally had his arm around her shoulders, so like his hand was on her shoulder and like his arm went across her chest, but eventually he just switched, and his hand was wrapped around her throat. And I'm assuming this wasn't tight, because she did not look uncomfortable or anything, but it was just sort of like, what are you doing? Why is your hand there? I don't understand. So, like, yeah, guys, come on the tours, have fun, hold hands, be cute. Maybe don't do some of these things. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to share your own experiences in the comments below.